Here we go, folks. Today we're diving deep into the heart of the Golden State Warriors roster. Not the stars, not the headlines, but the real engine of the team. The role players. The unsung heroes. The guys who may not get all the spotlight, but are absolutely crucial for a championship run. We're talking about Buddy Hield, Gary Payton II, Tracy Jackson-Davis, Kevin Looney, and Moses Moody. These are the dudes who show up night in and night out, doing the dirty work, hitting clutch shots, guarding the other team's best players, keeping the locker room tight, and just grinding. So let's break down their seasons, where they are right now, and what the future might hold for each of them in the Warriors system. Let's start with Buddy Hield. What a wild year it was for him. If you watched him throughout the season, you could feel it. This guy was having fun out there. He said it himself. It was the happiest he's ever been playing basketball. And it showed. He played in all 82 regular season games. That's a rare feat in today's NBA, especially for a player who was coming in with something to prove. Add to that all 12 playoff games, where sometimes he started, sometimes came off the bench, but always found a way to contribute. He had a monster performance in Game 7 against the Rockets. 33 points, 9 three-pointers. That's not a fluke. That's what you call stepping up when it matters most. For the 7th straight season, Buddy made over 200 three-pointers. That's consistency at an elite level. And get this, over the last 5 seasons, he's made more threes than Stephen Curry. That's insane. Even though his three-point percentage dipped a bit this year, he shot 37% from deep on 549 attempts. It's still solid for someone taking that many shots from beyond the arc. From the field overall, he hit 41%. Not exactly elite, but when your main job is stretching the floor and you're making that many threes, you're doing your job. But the season wasn't all sunshine. His scoring average was 11.1 points per game, and realistically, for the role he was playing and the help the team needed, that number should have been closer to 15. Especially early in the season, Buddy came out red hot, absolutely torching teams for the first 5 games. But then came the cold spell. He just couldn't find his rhythm and got benched. It was rough. He went from one of the most efficient players in the league to struggling to get minutes. But to his credit, he turned it around. Toward the end of the season, he was back to being the Buddy Hield everyone expected. More confident, more aggressive, more impactful. He even stepped it up on the defensive end, which has always been the knock on his game. There was a moment mid-season where he got pulled from the game after a defensive lapse, and you could see Draymond yelling at him. From that point on, he locked in. Active hands, better positioning, better effort. He'll never be a lockdown guy, but just being average on defense is enough when you're putting up the kind of offensive numbers he can. Buddy finished the season with 3.2 rebounds per game, pretty much what he's done the last 3 years. And while his assists and blocks weren't anything to write home about, he played his role. The best part? He's on a very team-friendly contract. $8 million a year for a guy who can drop 33 points and 9 threes in a Game 7? That's a steal. If he can just be a little more consistent next season, closer to that 15 to 18 points per game range, he's going to be a key piece for the Warriors moving forward. Now let's move to Gary Payton II. Man, what a journey. After that mid-season trade that brought him back, the vibe in the locker room changed. Everyone knew it was go time. They had to stop thinking about individual stats, contracts, or minutes. It was about winning, about doing it for Steph, for Draymond, for the guys who've been holding it down for a decade. And GP2, he bought in completely. This was the healthiest he's been in a while. 62 games played. That's major for him. He averaged 6.5 points per game. Not eye-popping, but we all know scoring isn't what he's there for. His shooting? Well, he hit 32% from 3, and yeah, that's not ideal, but he had those sneaky big moments, a corner 3 when it mattered, a transition bucket, a putback dunk. What you really get from GP2 is defense, energy, hustle, and even though his steals were down, less than 1 per game, his presence alone makes opponents uncomfortable. He's always up in your jersey, contesting shots, fighting over screens, doing the little things that don't show up on the box score. Rebounding-wise, he pulled in 3 per game, which is solid for a guy who's just 6'2". And he shot 57% from the field, which shows how efficient he is when he's attacking the rim. No wasted motion. No bad shots. Just smart basketball. Here's the situation with him. He's now a free agent. Made $9.1 million this season, and he could command anywhere from $10 to $20 million on the open market. That's the challenge. He's a valuable role player, a great locker room guy, and someone who has the trust of the coaching staff. But the Warriors don't have a ton of financial flexibility. If they can bring him back on a reasonable deal, maybe $6 to $8 million, they'll do it. But they'll have competition. Any team trying to win now would love to have Gary Payton II on their roster. We'll see how that plays out. Tracy Jackson-Davis. Man, this dude's season was a roller coaster. Started off strong, then hit the bench. Barely played against Minnesota. But when he did play, especially late in the year and in the playoffs, you saw flashes. He's a team-first guy. Says it himself, he just wants to help the team win, and he's always working to stay ready. Played over 60 games this year, which is impressive for a second-round pick still trying to find his footing in the league. But let's be honest, he's got to develop a jump shot. That's the reality of a modern NBA. You can't just be a defender and rebounder anymore. You got to space the floor. You got to hit a shot from the mid-range. At least threaten to shoot from three. And right now, TJD isn't doing that. He didn't even attempt threes this year. That's got to change if he wants to stick around and expand his role. His rebounding was solid, 5 per game, and he actually grabbed 2 offensive boards a night, which is big. He's active. He's physical. He finishes around the rim. But his free throw percentage needs to improve, and he's got to expand his offensive game. Still, considering he was the 57th pick, what he's doing is pretty remarkable. He's on a cheap deal, just under $2 million a year, and the team has him locked in for a couple more seasons. Unless he's part of a trade package as a salary filler, he's going to be around. Then there's Kevin Looney. 10 years with the Warriors. That's loyalty. That's dedication. And he's made it clear he wants to stay. This is his home. He was drafted here. He's won here. But this was not a good year for him. Let's call it what it is. This was probably the worst season of his career. Scoring dropped to 4.5 points per game. Rebounding dipped slightly to 6.1. Minutes were down to 15 per game, the lowest since the 2019 season. We'll pause here, and I'll continue with Moses Moody and the rest of the role players in the next part to keep everything within the 10,000 character limit. Let's pick it up with Moses Moody, a player who might just be the key to the Warriors' next chapter. Moody's season was a tale of two halves. At the beginning, it felt like he was constantly fighting for minutes, caught in that weird loop where he'd start a game, play solid, and then disappear from the rotation for weeks. But toward the end of the season, something clicked. He earned Steve Kerr's trust. He carved out a spot, and when it mattered, he stepped up. In the regular season, Moody averaged just under 10 points per game, 9.8 to be exact. Not spectacular, but efficient and timely. His field goal percentage sat at 43%, a bit below his usual, but what stood out was his three-point shooting. 37% from deep, a career high, and most importantly, he looked confident doing it. No hesitation. Catch, rise, fire. And in a Warriors system that depends on floor spacing, that kind of consistency is gold. What's promising about Moody is that he's still on a very team-friendly deal. Starting next season, his contract kicks in a higher gear, but even then, it's incredibly manageable. $12 million, then $13 for the next 2 years. He's not going anywhere. He's seen as a core piece, a guy who can grow into a six-man or even a starter, depending on how the roster shapes out. And with Klay Thompson aging and his future uncertain, having someone like Moody already integrated into the system is a massive win. Now, let's quickly touch on Brandon Podziemski. Even though he wasn't the focus here, we've got to mention the roller coaster he went through. Early season, he looked lost. Couldn't find a shot, looked slow, unsure of his role. But after that shoulder injury and subsequent return, something changed. He came back playing with poise, with fire. Ended the season averaging 11.7 points. And while his shooting percentages dipped compared to his rookie year, it was clear that he had matured. The playoffs were rough, though. He faded. He struggled to impact the game. And that's a problem because he's being groomed to be the backup point guard behind Steph. When Steph went down in the postseason, there was a glaring hole, and Podziemski wasn't ready to fill it. That has to change. His contract is also extremely team-friendly. $3 million next year, $5 million the year after. The Warriors are banking on him to take that leap. He's not a finished product, but there's real potential there if he continues to improve as a shooter and playmaker. These role players, when you put them all together, Buddy, GP2, TJD, Looney, Moody, Podziemski, they tell the story of a team that's at a crossroads. The core is still there. Steph is still Steph. Draymond still brings the fire. But the margin for error has gotten razor thin. If this team wants to get back to true contender status, these role players can't just be solid. They need to be difference makers. Consistent, efficient, locked in. Every night. And this offseason will be crucial. Every one of them knows what needs work. Shooting, spacing, defense, decision-making. They got to elevate. Because the West isn't getting any easier, and Steph's window won't stay open forever. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. In a move that's stirring considerable buzz around the NBA, the Golden State Warriors have reportedly signed TARAN Armstrong to a two-way contract, a strategic decision that could reinforce the team's already potent setup. This signing, while still under wraps officially, signals the Warriors' continued effort to deepen their roster with versatile talent that can seamlessly transition between the G League and the NBA spotlight. TARAN Armstrong, known for his dynamic play style and impressive work ethic, has been catching eyes with his consistent performances. By bringing him into their fold, the Warriors are not just adding a player, but potentially enhancing their tactical flexibility. Two-way contracts have become an invaluable tool for NBA franchises aiming to maintain a competitive edge while nurturing emerging players. This type of contract allows teams to shuttle players between their main roster and affiliate teams, enabling young talents to gain essential experience without losing the opportunity to contribute in crucial NBA games. Golden State's interest in Armstrong reflects their ongoing commitment to cultivating young players who fit their system's philosophy, speed, agility, and smart basketball IQ. Given the Warriors' emphasis on shooting and ball movement, Armstrong's skill set could make him a valuable asset in both offensive and defensive schemes. His ability to adapt and contribute on multiple fronts means he could easily become a reliable option during intense stretches of the season when injuries and fatigue test the depth of the squad. The Warriors' front office has been lauded for their shrewd personnel decisions in recent years, particularly their knack for identifying players who complement the team's core stars. Armstrong's signing could be seen as another calculated step in maintaining the Warriors' competitive window while preparing for the future. With established stars commanding the spotlight, emerging talents like Armstrong provide the necessary balance and fresh energy that can turn tight games in Golden State's favor. Moreover, the timing of this rumored signing is crucial as the Warriors gear up for a season filled with high expectations. The pressure to replicate their past successes, championship runs that have defined the last decade, means every roster addition is scrutinized for its potential impact. Armstrong's presence might not headline the pregame talk, but his role could prove indispensable as the Warriors navigate the grueling NBA calendar. While the details of Armstrong's contract remain confidential, the implications are clear. Golden State is bolstering its depth and flexibility. The Warriors are demonstrating a commitment to smart team building by investing in a player who embodies the qualities they value most. Fans and analysts alike will be watching closely to see how Armstrong integrates into the squad and whether this gamble pays off during the crucial moments of the season. In the ever-evolving landscape of the NBA, where every edge counts, the rumored addition of TARAN Armstrong on a two-way deal underscores the Warriors' strategic approach to sustaining excellence. Whether this move propels them back to championship glory or serves as a developmental stepping stone, it highlights Golden State's ongoing pursuit of innovation and adaptability in building a winning team. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.